One kind of gripe that I have with the training mode, I can set my restart to like the left side of the screen, the right side of the screen, which is a beautiful thing. But if I want to practice my corner combos on this side of the screen, I have to jump over. I don't think there's a setting to like actually switch sides. It's a little bit of an oversight, but I can deal with it. The perfect fighting game training mode needs like a couple of key features. It needs positional resets on like the left, center, and right side of the screen. It needs the ability to also be able to switch which side that you're on for all of those resets. So you can be on the player 1 side or the player 2 side, leading to like 6 different reset variations. Being able to record save states in specific positions on screen is also a nice little quirk, and that can even serve as a replacement to not having a side switch reset setting in the training mode as well. Another key basic, you need to have your input display show up. That's essential. If you don't have that, then you're really messing up. And you also need to have an attack data display. Now the attack data display can have like a couple of different things that would generally be nice. As far as attack data goes, damage for your moves, total damage for your combos, showing stun values is also nice too. So pretty much everything that we have up here right now, godsend. Good thing to have. Frame data for all your moves, so showing like startup, active, and recovery frames for your moves, that would be nice. Obviously, it's in terms of like CPU actions, pretty much every mobility option that your game has at each character's disposal, you should have that as like a settable action in your training mode settings. And obviously being able to like pick up and control the other character with the second control is obviously ideal as well. Outside of like the training mode itself, but more so like a feature that really enhances everything else, if you can have an online training mode for your game, that is also a blessing. This game has that. I think Ultra Street Fighter 4 also had this as well. Such a good learning tool for teaching people how to play certain characters and learn certain matchups. See, obviously all these counter hit settings, guard settings after specific actions are also a thing to consider. So basically, you just want a standard guard, maybe a block high only, a block low only if you really find that to be necessary. A guard after the first hit, so that way you can practice your combos that way. It would be preferable to also have a guard and then immediate attack afterwards, so that way you can test out your frame traps and your pressure strings. Obviously, all your games like standard recovery options should be settable as well. So this includes things like quick rise, back rise, like if you like wake up and do like a forward roll or wake up and do a back roll, like those sort of things. Like having recording settings for your recovery options is also a good thing, so that way you can learn how to like what your setup options are for like a wake up DP. If you want to like practice your safe jumps or something like that. You want to practice your Oki setups, something like that. Having recordable recovery actions is another absolute standard that a fighting game training mode should have. Obviously, every single setting imaginable as far as like meter management, those need to stay. Being able to turn off stuns for characters, also super helpful. That's another essential if you're practicing a bunch of combos like I've been doing most of today. And then recording slots. The amount of recording slots that you need to record specific actions, really there's not like a standard limit. I'd say if you have like at least 3, then you're good. Like I think 3 to 5 recording slots covers pretty much most, if not all, of the scenarios that you would ever want to lab in a fighting game. I think that's good. I'm not so sure how the combo maker system in Guilty Gear Strive works, but I would love it if you would also be able to load up specific combo sequences. Like say you want to like practice something from the trials for your character in like the actual training mode, so that we can get to see all like the extra data and whatnot. I think it would be super beneficial to be able to like queue up a combo and just like have that take up like the left side of the screen where the notation would usually end up being. And also another thing in regards to combos, one of my favorite things about French Bread's games, the Uni games, when you look at the input display, you get exact like frame counts for whenever you're doing like certain inputs. So if you're just like barely mistimed like the window for like a button into like a quarter circle or into a super cancel or whatnot, you can see exactly frame by frame how off we were or how close we were to actually getting it. If every fighting game had that feature as well, because everything's always locked to 60 frames a second, we have like a general metric to look at these things. If we had that in like every like key display for a fighting game, that would also be great. I would love that too. If I were in control, the software developer that I am, if I were in control of what features got into every single fighting game training mode that I ever worked on, I would have all those features. And then even then, probably even some more. Actually, you know what? I have one more thing. Have any of you guys played Plus R? If you go to the replay feature in Plus R, you can go ahead and thank Prof Sky Guy for coming through with the Prime sub. Thank you so much, homie. Really appreciate it. But if you go through the replays in Plus R, you can like stop the replays at like specific moments and then like lab around them. I'm not doing like a super good job of explaining this. Basically what it is that if you come across a scenario in a match and you load up the replay for it, you can run through the replay, pause the replay, and then take control of your character during the replay sequence and then lab out different scenarios for like, okay, so my opponent did this pressure sequence and I was not prepared for it. How do I work around that? And then you could just lab around that. You could just try a whole bunch of different options in the replays. It's such an underrated feature, and I would love for more fighting games to have that. Because if you look at a fighting game replay, like basically what a replay in a fighting game looks like is that it's just the game storing your inputs and like the timestamps that like it received all the input data, and it's just replaying them back for you. That's the reason why if you look at a game like Super Smash Brothers, when a new version gets updated for Smash Bros, then old replays don't work anymore because the data doesn't work with the newer version of the game. But if you were to have a feature like that, like if I could just have a match, load up a replay, and then hop right into training mode, right in the middle of the replay to lab out what I did wrong, that is a more powerful learning tool than any fighting game dev has ever like even come close to producing. And for some reason it's not in more games. I don't know why it's not in more games. It should be in more games. Had I thought about this at the time, I would have included the simple select feature in Tekken 7. The ability to quickly change and swap out characters from the training mode without having to go all the way back to the character select menu and just saving that much loading time. Beautiful feature. More fighting games should have it. But yeah, rant done. Rant done.